We also focused very heavily on identifying and prioritizing the stakeholders within our community. So these are the people in your community that care about what the library is doing. So we call them customers, other libraries call them patrons or users or any variety of other terms. But the people who are actively using your library services, either irregularly or regularly, are obviously stakeholders that will care a great deal about what you're doing. So those community consultations I talked about, they're the easiest ones to reach, the ones that you can get to very quickly, very easily, and they're usually very happy to share what they'd like to see you doing next. But we always focus as well on the non-customers. And by that, I mean, there are many people out there who actually don't use the library, but they're huge library supporters. They're people who think, hey, even if I don't really, the library doesn't fit into my lifestyle at this time of my life. Hey, when I was, a parent with young kids, we didn't have a lot of money. We really used the library a lot. We want to make sure that other young families have that. And eventually, I'm going to be a senior citizen when I might not have that much money again. And I want the community, the services, the collections that the library can provide. So we focus very much on trying to get that non-customer feedback, even though it's not potentially as critically important now to your groups. As I mentioned earlier, when we're looking at that demographics, the future demographics through GIS, that's where you can start thinking, okay, these people may be working professionals now who aren't using our library much, but when they get into that senior citizen level, they retire, they're very much going to be customers. What are they going to want when we get there? The third one down the list is funders. So a lot of people in libraries, honestly, they go at it from the public good perspective. This is the public library specifically. They're looking at the public good perspective, exactly what it is that they want to see the library achieve, all those great goals that they want strategically to improve literacy in their communities, for example. But in our case, we focus very heavily on what the funders want. As I said, we have 13 different municipalities, 2 regional districts, and the provincial government, all of whom pay a percentage of the service of the cost that our library provides, which this year is $33.7 million. So we listen very carefully to what it is that they're doing, and we try wherever possible to align ourselves with our goals. So, for example, with the provincial government, we've just had a provincial election. One of the things the provincial government asked us to do up front early on was to make the various polling stations very available and and increase awareness of them with our library customers. So, of course, we did that wherever possible. We had handouts in places. It's an easy, simple service to do, but it makes our funders happy. When we look at any municipalities, we launched some bird watching backpacks where we loan out a whole bird watching kit with binoculars and monoculars and bird watching guides in a backpack. The standard joke for us is you provide the lunch, we provide everything else. But why do we do that? Well, simply because one of our municipalities said, hey, we'd really like to do this. Could you get 3 kits for our municipality? We said, no, but we can buy 100 for the entire system. And they went, great. So we bought 100, hugely successful. What do you think that results in? Well, a municipality that maybe in the past was not as happy with being a part of a regional library system, who now thinks we're the best thing since sliced bread. So really aligning your goals with your funders can go a long ways towards improving the relationship with your funders, which is really a key part of what you're trying to do in all of these areas. Um, the funders are generally represented in our case by governments and political leadership. Those things change. So the trick becomes, how do you align yourself with the goals of those governments, those political leaders, now knowing that they could change in a year or two? As I said, we're just in election right now here in BC, and the goals of the next government may be different than yours. So you're always trying to, again, find that compromise. Look for the places in which somebody can find value in what you do, regardless of what political ideology they follow. My colleague today, Todd, is of course representing an advanced educational institution. We definitely prioritize what they do as well, not just because we obviously like to support them in their goals, but also because we often recruit. We have 2 local universities here who provide library technicians, and we recruit directly from them. Not surprisingly, one of my staff sits on the board of that program and provides advisory to them, which they really want, because we recruit a large part of the people who they graduate. So we all, again, try to look at those people, and then the school districts, who of course are very vested in what we do. We have our summer reading club, which was designed specifically to address dropping literacy needs during the summer. We work with the school districts to ensure that what we're doing aligns with their goals. All of these things together mean that we are serving a wide degree of different stakeholders within the community, not just the ones that we perhaps find the easiest to work with. It really is finding that compromise, that balancing act between the different political groups who have their own vested interest in what they want to see the library doing.